So I just got to see Next Goal Wins, the brand new film from writer-director Taika Waititi, which stars Michael Fassbender. And the movie follows the real-life story of this soccer team from American Samoa, maybe the worst soccer team in national football. It's a team that had never even scored a goal, let alone won a game, and now they have this coach who has gone through a lot of stuff in his life and is in a really bad place in life, and he has to kind of come to this team, rejuvenate them, and hopefully score just that one goal. Now I have a lot to say about this movie, and a lot to say about Taika Waititi himself when it comes to his movies in general, because I thought this movie was a little bit of a letdown. Now I have to say, I am a big fan of Taika Waititi, and I am a big defender of him, because for some reason his reputation in Hollywood has kind of gone down the shitter ever since he made Thor: Love and Thunder. But it's kind of strange to me, because Taika Waititi has a track record of monumental success. Almost everything that he had made before Thor: Love and Thunder was a absolute banger, including Thor: Ragnarok and my favorite movie from him, and I think it's an amazing movie, Jojo's Rabbit. But he has other movies that are really, really great, and I was really excited for Next Goal Wins after Thor: Love and Thunder, because obviously I personally did not love that movie, and I know a lot of people didn't love it. I was hoping that this movie would kind of be the one that put him back on track and showed that he is still a great filmmaker and a great writer. And unfortunately, it just didn't do it for me. And no, I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder. It's definitely a watchable movie that I definitely think has an audience somewhere out there, whereas Thor: Love and Thunder was just so over-the-top dumb that it just didn't work on any level. But this movie kind of went through development hell. Like, I'm pretty sure this movie filmed back in 2019. I remember it was supposed to come out like late 2020, then late 2021, and it just kept getting pushed back, and I can kind of see why. It's just that this movie feels very disjointed, and it doesn't really do anything. Let me start with the cast, and just mainly Michael Fassbender. He is really good in this movie. Is he as good as he was in the recently released David Fincher's The Killer? No, not really, but he does his thing, and he's still the charming, amazing to watch Michael Fassbender that you expect from all of his movies. Most of the other cast, it's a bunch of unknowns, but they all kind of do their jobs, and there are some characters that really stand out, but most of the characters that are on the soccer team and in the background, I just feel like they didn't do enough, or they weren't given enough to truly all stand out equally. They really picked 2 or 3 characters, and they mainly focus on them. I do like the guy that was sort of like the manager of the entire American Samoa Soccer Federation. I thought that guy was pretty funny. But funny, that's the main thing I gotta talk about with this movie, because Taika Waititi is a very funny writer. A lot of his movies are really hilarious, but this movie is just, it's painfully unfunny at times. It's a movie that tries so very, very hard to be incredibly sarcastic and hilarious, but for some reason it just never clicks, and I think it's mainly because this is a story that probably shouldn't have been told in an over-the-top comedy. This feels like a story that would have been better fit for a typical, even if I say generic, more, Hollywood-based sports story, but it's mixed with this over-the-top satirical comedy style that Taika has, and it just doesn't mix well, especially because this is supposed to be a true story that we're connecting with on an emotional level, and it's hard to do that when it is this over-the-top satirical style. Like, if Taika had tried to do Jojo's Rabbit in a more true story, to try to tell that story as a more real, non-fiction type thing, it wouldn't have worked, but because he took the route of doing this fictionalized version of it, he was allowed to go extremely over the top with some stuff, and it really worked to his style. Whereas this movie, it felt like the truer story needed to be more serious and more emotional than it ended up being, and that's why a lot of the comedy didn't work. It also doesn't help that this is PG-13, meaning that he is handcuffed with a lot of the comedy and a lot of his dialogue. It just, to me, there were moments that were funny, but for the most part, there were so many different moments that were trying to be big laugh-out-loud moments. Like, there's even like a moment of silence after the characters say their lines to pause for audience laughter, and they were painfully not funny. And with a movie like this, if the comedy doesn't work, the movie doesn't work. And let me just say, I think a lot of the emotional stuff in this script and in this story should work, even though a lot of it isn't, nothing is really truly dived into. They don't really dive into anything super, super seriously. They lay out the foundation of a lot of these different thematical and emotional, type story beats, and they never truly really elevate any of them to where they can actually be something special. Whereas some of them definitely hit for the little bits of sprinkles of seeds that they put in for them. None of them truly become the foundation of this movie and actually truly shine on their own. And because of that, and because of the comedy not really landing, ultimately the whole thing just kind of felt empty and lifeless and sort of boring. Not to say that there isn't some enjoyment to be had here. I mean, the movie's paced fine. I'm sure some people will find it funny. The soccer stuff is cool, even if it's a little goofy at times. And Michael Fassbender's performance is definitely enjoyable to watch. I think the setting of American Samoa is definitely interesting. I had not known anything from American Samoa other than the fact that, like, The Rock and Roman Reigns came from there. But it seems like a very cool place, and they definitely utilize it well. You can definitely see little bits of evidence of the fact that Taika Waititi is an amazing filmmaker. I just wish that he would focus less on making big-budgeted movies and now true stories and just make his own original fictionalized things, because he is really, really good. He has made way more great movies than bad ones. Thor Love and Thunder was bad. This one is not, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it's just okay. I definitely think Taika's gonna bounce back and he's gonna start making these great movies again. He's gonna get back into that Oscar conversation, get back in the conversation as one of the best comedy directors working today, because he really is amazing, and I don't want the fact that this review is mostly negative to sound like I don't like Taika Waititi as a director, because he's getting so much hate online by the film community. People just absolutely hate his last two movies, but I truly think he's an amazing filmmaker, and Jojo's Rabbit is seriously one of my favorite World War II setting movies ever. I think it's an amazing film. It's super funny, and it's great. I think Thor Ragnarok's one of the best comedies and one of the best superhero movies that Marvel has made. I think he's a fantastic filmmaker. Next Goal Wins just didn't entirely work for me, which is why I'm going to give Next Goal Wins a 2 out of 5. I just thought it could have been a little bit better. So that's the video. Hope you guys liked it. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Make sure to click on the video that's on your screen right now. I'll see you guys in the next video.